Alright, let's go take care of this business with Enthir.
I'm not being hounded about my progress at the college.
There you are.
Even with the college's laid-back attitude, there are still some things that are off limits.
Yes, so you've said.
There are some experiments the college frowns on, if they're aware of them.
Here's the staff you wanted.
Well. All right. You delivered on your end, so I'll deliver on mine.
I should hope so.
Here's the gem Arniel was after. Can't imagine what he expects to do with that. It's warped beyond any ability to capture a soul.
Asleep? Come on. Wake up, Arniel. Arniel?
I'm working on some very important research, I assure you.
I've got the soul gem you were after.
Do you? Wonderful. I was afraid I'd have to give up. And when I'm so close...
So, what is it that you're doing?
I have a great deal of work ahead of me.
Fine. Let's get a bite to eat. What in the world could Arniel be up to? A warped soul gem? Dwemer cogs? Let's go find out. What kind of hours do you keep?
Hello, friend.
Tell me, how is your project coming along?
Terrible, just terrible. I vastly underestimated the heat transfer necessary, and have destroyed my only working model. I'm at a loss.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Look, it's all very simple. The Dwemer, they were, masters of magic in a way we can't even begin to conceive of. Their greatest achievement, however, has also been their greatest, shall we say, mystery.
And what mystery would that be?
Their disappearance, of course. Instant, unexplainable. The stories have fascinated me. Ever since I was young, I wanted to know what really happened. After years and years of work, I'm closing in on a way to investigate what happened through experimentation.
Really?
Only now, well, it's simply a disaster.
Why is that? What went wrong?
Without boring you with the details, I'm attempting to recreate the circumstances of the event.
Really?
The dwarves were very clever, tapping into and drawing power from the heart of Lorcan itself.
Yes?
Lacking the heart of a dead god myself, I was attempting to substitute a rather specific soul gem, the one you helped me acquire.
And it won't work?
Well, yes, I mean, no. That is, it might, but I'm not completely sure. I'm no tonal architect. I've only read their writings, scraps really. The soul gem by itself isn't enough, you see. It needs to be altered, purified. The dwarves had machines for this sort of thing.
Yes, the convectors.
I've attempted to build my own, based on design
You did what?
parts you helped to provide. My very own dwarven convector. It worked, but not fully. And
Imagine not.
The device was destroyed in the process.
Can you try to build another?
No! I'm too close now. Can't take the time.
I see.
Though, perhaps there's another option. I may require further assistance from you.
Yes. What do you want?
Well, yes. The designs for my convector were based on real dwarven machines, so there may still be some in existence.
Yes, I know there are a couple.
I'd go looking myself, but yes, there are calculations
Of course
to double,
there are.
triple check. Many calculations. Perhaps you could seek out these convectors in Skyrim ruins. I can even teach you the spell to heat them.
Heat them?
It's very particular.
You'll
and
ruin the
very
convector doing that. Fine. Teach me your spell.
Wonderful. Just wonderful. I knew I could count on you. Now, this spell is not for defending yourself, but it's just right for heating the convector. At least 3 seconds burn is necessary.
3 seconds.
Just place the soul gem inside and heat the convector. At least 3 seconds. You'll almost certainly need to find multiple convectors.
Almost. I
I
will.
suspect it may be due to the nature of the soul gem versus the crystals this was intended for. Destroys the equipment in the process.
Yes, it would.
But, it's effective. 3 times, and the crystal should be ready for the next step. Isn't this exciting?
Yes, actually. It's very interesting. Very interesting. I need to hurry and get ready. I gotta start right away. that?
Here we go.
Is that everything? I think so. What were you doing? I'll take those. Must have been an outpost of some sort here. I don't ever recall hearing of any city-states or buildings in this area. Not here. Now, where's this convector? I thought I saw it on the way in. Let's check around a little bit first. Interesting. Very interesting. I can take that. I think I can melt it down. And those. No, I don't want that. Alright, where is this convector? Sit here picking up scraps all day. This'll save me a trip to Mathewson. There it is. Alright, this should be the last one. Alright. Ready, sorcerer? Let's heat this up. That should do it. Alright, sorcerer. Let's get back to the college, shall we? Grab our gem. And head out.
Alright, well, hello and welcome. My name is Joe, and I am the Panicked Monk, and you are watching Lost in Time, a Dwemer's tale. I've strung together several scenes, cutting out a lot of travel in between. Not a lot has happened during those travels. I left in some of the interesting bits during the musical sequence. But for the most part, I didn't really see much value in keeping a lot of travel in this particular episode, so I think Szenac's going to gather some wood, since he did have to camp a few nights. He's going to replenish his supply. And head back to Winterhold College to give Arniel this repaired gem that he's used the convectors to fix. To, I don't know, straighten out, unwarp. I imagine it's more of a, I don't know, internal, realigning the internal crystalline structure than it is actually, a banana-shaped gem. But let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that has happened quickly. This episode is going to come to an end in a little bit here, so let's talk about the dragon. That was a pivotal point in this particular episode for Szenac, as it's the very first time he has encountered a dragon in Skyrim. Actually, probably in his entire life, he's never seen an actual dragon. So, what started out as just I don't know, a fun run, I guess, for lack of a better word, to correct this gem, gained a little more weight once he saw the dragon. It put a little more emphasis on getting things done in a timely manner. Now, Szenac's interest in this quest for Arniel really heightened when he learned exactly what Arniel was up to. Now, he knows better than to think that Arniel has discovered a way to find the Dwemer people. He has been told as much by his mother, and puts more value in her word than Arniel's. But he is very curious on what Arniel has discovered, or what he hopes to discover. If nothing else, to answer some questions about what happened that day he fell down the hole in Kagranzel. So his interest, his curiosity is piqued by Arniel's experiments, by the direction that he's trying to go, and he wants to know what the outcome is going to be, probably more than Arniel even. Arniel has, I guess, scholarly interest in the topic, whereas Szenac has more vested personal interest. So he ran into that dragon, and it put a lot more emphasis on getting this done, because it's just one more thing that could prevent him from ever knowing, or I don't know, it added a sense of urgency for some reason. You know, that if there are dragons, that could really derail what he's trying to do, or what Arniel's trying to find out. So after running into that dragon, he kind of beat feet and finished up repairing this gem. Now, it's interesting that Szenac is a dwarven engineer, and he was on the path of being he's a tonal engineer on the path towards being a tonal architect. It's a long, arduous learning and course of study, but eventually that was the direction he was going. So he may have learned if he had been able to continue that path, he probably would have learned all about, using the convectors and what they exactly did in detail. Now, he's aware of them, and he knew basically what they were used for insofar as how they interacted with crystalline objects, but he didn't ever really learn how to use them properly. So he had to go the route that Arniel was going, because he didn't have any other choice. If he had more information, if he had further studied the tonal architect ways, he probably would have been able to repair that gem without having to destroy the convectors. But as was the case, he could not. So and he was not actually expecting to run into a convector while he cut cross country. He knew of the two down south of Windhelm at Mazulft, but he was thinking that he would shortcut the roads and go across land towards Deep Folk, because he knew that there were convectors there. He knew for sure at Deep Folk. He knew that for sure there was one in Deep Folk Crossing because he saw it when he picked up the last shard. So that was the general direction he was heading. He just happened to run into these ruins that had one, you know, laying outside of him. So he doesn't know what they were a part of. A larger town, city, observatory, outpost of some sort. He really doesn't know. There wasn't enough left of the ruins to make a determination of what they were from. But it did have a convector. So it would have been an area that was somehow related to the tonal architects. Or someone thought it was a treasure chest and brought it out there, but that's really pretty unlikely since they're not locked. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons, I suppose, that the convector could have been there. Someone thought it was an empty chest, but maybe it would have been useful, so they hauled it out there and as a kind of a little private cache, but the fact that it was in such proximity to old dwarven ruins that the coincidence is just too great for it to be happenstance. Alright, what do we got here? Come on. Come on, go down.
That's your bet? Huh? I'll have your head for a...
Well, not if I can help it.
No more. I yield.
Come on, finish her. Come on. Go down. Sheesh. I had a couple chances to take her down, but I missed. So then she healed up and... Oh, that's the first time I think I've seen full chitin armor. I'm not going to take it. It's far too heavy to be hauling around out of curiosity. Stamina... I don't know. Yeah, alright. Okay, well, fortunately we had our Atronach helping us. Otherwise that would have been probably a lot more difficult than it was. And I got a couple good smacks against me as it is. Alright, we gotta head back to Winterhold and deliver this to Arniel and see what comes. It may give Szenac some insight on what happened to the dwarves, which is what he's really hoping for, now that he knows what Arniel's doing. He originally started helping Arniel because he had this feeling that it had something to do with the tools of Kagrenac. He needs all three, Keening, Sunder, and Wraithguard, and just the way Arniel was acting and how, you know, how he was kind of skirting any questions about what he was doing, and it just kind of was all, I don't know, he was definitely up to something, and Szenac needed to know what it was for some reason, and he really felt it had something to do with the tools. And in the back of his mind, I think he still does. But this whole curiosity of finding out how or what might have transpired when his people disappeared while he was falling down that deep, deep hole in Kagrenzel is just kind of, that's taken precedence now. So that's what he's hoping to find out. It's just another piece of the puzzle. It's not really going to change his situation. He's come to realize that and accepted it. But it's, you know, it's
come along. No
it's
more
like
stops.
anybody that's trying to
Find our way
research
to
their
solitude.
ancestry or their history. It's more out of curiosity than anything else. It's just another piece of the puzzle of who he is. And there it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming back. Thanks for stopping in if you're new. And I hope the middle sequence where he was running about doing his work with the convectors was okay, that you don't feel cheated by not watching him run from place to place. Again, I just felt it was more interesting way to present that than just running from point A to point B to point C, etc. So, kind of fast-tracked a lot of that in this episode. Because I really want to stick to his story and not get bogged down by minutia such as traveling. Just kind of stick to the point and stay true if we can. That is all we have for this episode. So, again, thank you for coming with Szenac and I. And until next time, safe travels.